Thank you, friends. Wow, that's some hype to lead us on in. I'm Shift. This is Ash. What's up, homie? Ready to rock?
I am so ready to rock. I'm so stoked to be here, Shift, and with you, makes it even better.
We're vibing. We've got challengers on the main stage. I like to always say there's nothing scarier than a team with nothing to lose. Feels like that very well may be the case for a team like Bestia. But the other side of the story here is that KRU may have found something in these meta comps that they were just talking about on the desk. Mostly, hey, Heat's good with the scope, so just let him have it more often. That seems to be a recipe for success.
It really has. I think that it's been crazy to see, and the chambers look so good.
That's right. Well, it's time for your Samsung Match Start, brought to you by Samsung OLED. And I'll tell you, why not go to Breeze? This has been kind of a staple for Bestie over the course of their run through their Stage 2 and Challengers. Just comes down to, can they actually find the success with the lights feeling a little bit brighter here in LA? Opening start looks like we're going to get something pretty aggressive through mid. Just a little feel out for KRU, but all eyes towards possibly an early look at it.
Look at the space that Bestia has already taken, though, into mid. That positioning there for Melzer and KRU. This is a squad where when they were playing up against Sentinels, they really favored those mid splits. Now heavy towards A main.
Well, able to get their way through the first trap. A looks pretty wide and open. Sarah just wondering if he wants to directly commit for this plant yet or not. High Tide will come through for the defense. Bestia trying to split apart this KRU approach. Sound cue on the initial toggle for the spike. It looks like Bestia does want to try to contest this.
Plant's going to go down, though. The timing here for Sadok on that wall drop could be that stab in the back there for loss.
Good first blood from Sadok. Immediately counter, though. Bestia now wants to give this away for free. And KRU's taking some damage as they continue to just float around the pyramids, but are able to find another couple of trades to the backside of the site. Big moment here from Zera. Last one left, and Bestia able to overwhelm. Really nice contest to the spike plant to take the pistol.
Yeah, just walking in up against the back of that toxic screen, thrown down there by Les. And I think we saw the vision from KRU, right? They go for the tap. They know that they can't actually secure that plant. They try to fight a little bit forward, but Bestia have already encroached on them just a little too far.
Yeah, really nice stuff early. And I think it's going to be interesting. If you would call it the position, I mean, let's not try to count our chickens before they hatch here, but seeing Bestia investing into the middle of the map could be really key. I think especially knowing that KRU have tried to put themselves into a position to not play with that same kind of diving, heavy execute lately. It's been more of the feel out, like you call, trying to play for sound cues, finding ways to try to break down the defense first as we get our first early tech pause here to kick off our Thursday.
Yeah, I mean, posturing for mid that early on shows Bestia they've done their homework, right? Watching that Sentinels matchup, that have the understanding of how KRU were not even just like going for quick hits into mid doors at times. You'd also have opportunities for Heat to get inserted up into mid, get those picks into tunnels and B-Link, something that you have to continue to keep your eyes out on. For KRU, last time we saw them here on Breeze, they did start off crazy with that 9-1 lead up against Sentinels, but Bestia, again, the desk is shutting it out. This is a squad where Breeze has been their bread and butter throughout VCL.
Absolutely. I mean, just looking across their overall records, I mean, familiarity playing against the KRU name in certain ways because they played against KRU Spark in their region. But it's just been interesting because they've been sticking to this composition for the last handful of weeks in their region. It's worked out very successfully for them. In particular, their defensive win rate has been really, really strong. So definitely something to keep our eye on here as we get deeper into this early stage of map number 1. That is a mouse pad right there.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what.
Hey, I rate that. I love cats personally. I got 2 at home, so I rate that. I want to take this opportunity during the tech pause, though, to touch on the one change on the side of Bestia with Jet coming in here for loss. He had been previously playing that Phoenix, and I feel like that look for them just... I feel like it just looks so much more comfortable in a way with how Lost is going to be trying to maneuver around the map, but at the same time, I'm a little bit worried about taking away that Phoenix. They don't have flashes now on the side of Bestia. You're really going to be relying on that Storm Surge there for the Harbor, and also Melzer with that drone to be able to push Heat off of those angles that we've seen him take looking to contest, especially once that Sniper does get online on the attacking side, and they're going to look to deny that defensive side of aggression. Yeah,
that's a really good call. We'll have to keep our eyes on that in particular to see, how does that mean Bestia are going to develop their defense? Are they going to try to play for something a little bit more trap heavy as soon as the barriers drop? Try to get a little bit more aggressive behind something as simple as just an easy recon dart or something of the nature? Or will it be this kind of more measured contest from the backside of the site? Try to avoid those pop flashes that could be coming through from Sadok and then find a way to reaggress. A lot of questions. And we had time to ask them, so let's see if we can find some answers here as we jump into round number 2. Nothing crazy here for KRU, just on the classics.
Loss. No one wants to look to contest that angle right now.
Quick shoulder, quick denial. KRU still hailing over towards elbow, but this will just be one of those rounds that you just hope you can get away with the plant and maybe a couple of picks, especially with that first blood going away. David able to get at least 1 tag and a second. That will work out for the second kill in the round. Follow-up help from Melzer is right here. And this toxic screen will allow KRU to start to navigate a little bit of space on the front side of the site. But getting on and getting the plant is a different story, as David is just absolutely farming up here at B.
Yeah, there really isn't going to be anything that Les is going to be able to do there. But something that we're going to keep our eyes on is the aggression that we saw immediately protocoled there by Bestia. That was a very quick push out from A main from Takolia after we saw the KRU looking to show over on that B side. So the reactivity is something that I'm going to keep my eyes out on here, especially on a Breeze where we've seen how dynamic they are. We've seen also KRU and Sodok's calling in that Sentinels game and how good they were with pivoting in that mid-round. And that information that Takolia could get on those mid-round pushes, looking to re-clear that space, could be key here to get the info for Bestia.
And keep in mind that Sentinels match, it was 9 attacking rounds for KRU on this map, so see if they can find a way to get things going here with her full purchase. Pretty much a true bonus here for KRU, or pretty for Bestia. And just a feel out again. Just, again, voluntarily giving away the space at mid right now are KRU. But Lost playing an aggressive angle over towards shops at A will be a good first point of contact. And I think that's going to force out potentially early utility that you don't want to spend if you're KRU.
Oh, and they're just all walking up. Lost has no support here.
Doesn't need it. Unbelievable. That is a huge first blood. Forcing the commitment onto the execute, though, will be KRU. Once again, Dante trying to put a little bit of pressure on towards a potential spike plant, but shock darts will come through to delay again. Great damage coming out. And now finally Dante will commit, and it's going to take a while for the defense to get back into position with this long flank on the way.
Yeah, but Les hears this right now. I'm pretty sure Taco was running there, so should be expecting this push to come through, get the second there as well.
And that puts a lot of pressure now for this Bestia defense from the backside of the site. Wall will go up for the Harbor. Seen on the cross, he cannot connect initially. Second opportunity will work. Dante finds one backside of the site, and Melzer, good luck, have fun, no problems there. KRU get on the board.
Nice clean round here for KRU on their buy round. Overall, though, again, it's that same kind of aggression that we saw from Bestia. Once KRU showed their hand where they were expecting to look for the plant, it was that push that comes in. And that's going to also make Les's lurks that much more important to be able to catch out those rotations.
Absolutely. So that's another way to kind of look at it, you know, if you're looking at this from KRU's perspective, and we're going to get a lot of information here in this first full purchase for both teams, but if they're going to voluntarily give away mid like that, but then be able to scale somebody deeper on the lurk in the midpoint of the round, that could be absolutely crucial for KRU moving around the map. 3-2 split, though, for Bestia. Not looking to get too aggressive through mid in this round. Instead, we will have loss on the operator early, which has been a big tool for Bestia in the past, and we're going to get a fast lane quick execute to the front side of B here for KRU.
What's David going to be able to do? He has a trip.
Good reveal.
Great reaction with the relay bolt, though.
Dante at the back of the site, looking to double up, able to get some help from Les. That will be the exchange in favor of KRU's offense, 4v3.
Taco snuck on site.
He's in a great spot, potentially blow this play wide open. Heat will fall. Good help on the way with the Owl drone to scout things out, while again, isolation from Taco's good for a second. Spike is not even close to being in a plantable position yet, so great stuff coming through. A huge shot from Loss. Melzer will finish it off in a big hold from Bestia.
Really nicely done there. And Taco, the linchpin in that round, being able to actually sneak over to that tower position and get those two, opens things up, turning it into that 2v2 there for Bestia in the retake.
I would say so far, Bestia is kind of checking the boxes that you want to see in terms of their ability to, you know, the pistol round. I know it is what it is, it's a pistol. But for them to be able to contest Spike and not make KRU feel comfortable in a post plant, great news. Here on B, a little late to the party, but able to still survive through what was a really good initial push for KRU to the back of the site. That's great stuff for Bestia.
Yeah, both these teams, I think, very prepared for some of those fast floods that happened into that. But what a spam to come in from Taco for the first.
First blood has been great for Bestia so far. Just comes down to can they convert this one. Heat does have that operator in play. That had been a huge game changer for them in the match versus Sentinels. Nice little pot flash for Sadok. Gets one, but the trade is immediately there. Taco looking for more, but Les is able to convert. Does keep this a bit punishing. KRU not done yet. Little 2v1 on the side and nowhere to go. He's able to connect, and now we've got a 2v2. Very winnable here for KRU.
Okay, time goes down. What do we have to work with here? Drone available for Melzer.
What a shot.
It will go out eventually, but to get that first pick into the retake wasn't necessary. Now it's all up to Heat with the op in hand. He's able to tuck away from it.
Not going to shop for the Vandal at his feet. Instead, just going to play for the op.
Doesn't want to reveal his position.
Here's the first look. Shot lands. Snaps back. Able to get the confirmation that he's not on for the plant. Or pardon me, the defuse. Lost still toggling. Getting it to halfway. Pros don't fake.
No!
Done. 4-1 the count. Bestia up big.
What an insane stick there from Loss. You called it pros don't fake. And that second jump spot there from Heat, unfortunate to not be able to actually catch that. We were still on that spike there for Loss. Man. Overall, I think the anchoring as well as the retakes have been strong here for Bestia. KRU have no problem getting onto that site, but Bestia are more than happy to play those fast ones.
Right now, again, like I'm really impressed with how Bestia are not just making life difficult on execute, but more in particular, KRU has not had a comfortable post plant yet. Very different from what we had seen just a mere week ago when they were playing against Sentinels. This has been flawless so far from Bestia.
Yeah, they're very much so taking advantage, I think, of the fact that they know that KRU likes to run some of those 4-1 splits. But this time around, we saw them start a bit more spread into this default here from KRU.
Oh, I mean, the aggression that's coming through for Bestia is so good. Once again, First Blood connects. That's on a key component with Dante out of the picture. And all of a sudden, without running a double duelist situation, if you're KRU, you're sitting here like, how do we get on site? And the only answer may be by Les trying to find something through mid-map.
They're not going to give anything. Look at how disciplined Bestia are playing right now with how they're bunkering on this B side. Only concern really being that it would be hard for Chube and David to look to trade each other out here.
Yeah.
But you see the reposition, you see them bolstering this B site as well. Trying to fake presence into mid door with the knife, and it doesn't even matter.
30
They've
seconds
got nowhere
left.
to go. I mean, this is complete congestion right now. Melzer, who did get revealed by the knife, is understanding there could be pressure through mid doors.
Right here.
Still a bit of a smooth focus here for the defense, and that's an opportunity for Psyduck to work their way in. Taco still unnoticed inside of the site. Not able to hunt the timing on the first. Also not able to connect onto the second as a good reveal comes over the top, but Zayre's able to find the elimination, and there will be a chance to plan here. Knives are going to be called for Loss. You also have the Reckoning starting to come through. Here's the first look. Loss not able to connect. Bestia still trying to work their way back into the site. A little bit labored to get their way back in, but a really, really good surge. That will clean things up, and Bestia will get their fifth.
Really nicely done. Again, the consistency here from Bestia. We did see KRU changing their game plan a little bit though, right? They spread out a little bit more, tried to get some of those inserts on the extremities before looking to regroup for that A hit. But you can also see how much the game plan is contingent on Dante being able to go in and create that space as the Neon. When you're running that solo duelist, things slow down so much on the attack once that player goes down.
Oh, absolutely. And again, not to just beat a dead horse here, but that was the big key to success. It felt like watching this KRU squad playing up against Sentinels is Dante felt like the old school Dante that we came to know.
It wasn't just that, like it was the Dante, but it was also Heat being great with the openers on the attacking side with the scope. And Bestia aren't giving him any of those peaks, any of those opportunities to really work them as comfortably as we saw in that last match that KRU played.
Love it. So far, Bestia has, again, passed the eye test. It's always difficult when you try to evaluate a team coming out of a challengers region that often gets maybe, I won't say like underlooked, but to go into a caliber of opponent here in VCT, it just feels like it's the starts of a David versus Goliath type conversation, even though you are dealing with the best out of challengers and some of the teams that have struggled through the group stage in VCT. But so far, this feels just about as one-sided as you could possibly imagine. And coming off the timeout here for KRU, I would say first and foremost, we got to survive in the first 20 seconds of these rounds.
Yeah, it's been tough in that kind of regard. I feel like you shouted out earlier, Bestia have been so good when it comes down to those first bloods. and shutting down any angles that KRU were trying to work. Now the conversation that they had previously, they will still go back to that 4-1 split, leaning heavily into a main. A bit of a different setup though. Bestia shifting Loss onto that B side. And David actually is going to be the one opping on the A site. So mind games being played here by the defenders.
And I like this little change because look at the tools that are available all of a sudden for KRU. You've got things like the null command. You've also got the Hunter's Fury, which could open up those close, tight angles that have been so successful for Bestia. So change it up by throwing an immediate curveball. You get the angle at A, earned by Heat, thanks to the tour de force. And KRU are going to look to probably open up 2 points of ingress here onto this A site by connecting through mid.
But they have so much information on the side of Bestia with that elbow positioning right now, expecting this push to come through. Being able to deny this Cypher utility, though, is huge. But still no picks. That's the scary part because of how good these fast floods have been for Bestia.
And honestly, for Bestia, you're happy with this right now. You get an Aldrin to feel out mid. Spike will go down. Taco does have the finger guns available. Nels are very close to Hunter's Fury of their own. One pick would earn that. Here comes the retake attempt, and I'll tell you, Les is way out of the play right now.
Okay, he's got to start moving over to that A site soon. The timing could be good, but they're too fast flooding in through the mid doors.
You have to hold this post plant from the front here for your KRU. You absolutely need to find something on the way back through. The Lost is able to give you the opener. Taco now making their way back over through the harbor wall. Here's the Hunter's Fury to try to establish the post-plant control. Heat able to connect and snap back over. KRU able to find a couple eliminations. And this is such a tough post-plant position to clear out, especially with Melzer still not having the Hunter's Fury. Time becoming an issue. Taco forcing their way forward, able to slide out for one. Oh my goodness, still able to find everything. Does Melzer have the time? No! The snake bite lands and connects, and KRU will survive the round.
Just enough utility to be dumped. Everything that was saved didn't get used in that early round. Since they got the execution with the KO ult onto that A site, they didn't have to use anything else. And all of that saved into the post plant, that's tough there for Bestia, but a huge boon for KRU to try and swing the momentum back into their favor.
It's still expensive though, and it doesn't feel comfortable yet. Especially with Taco able to find 4 at the end of the round. And, oh, it got so close. You can see Melzer. Yeah. Let's not try to make that feel more confident if you're KRU. Taco looking to get aggressive. Oh, just punishing Taco, keeping the hot hands, and an early 1v2 comes through. Melzer was there if the Hunter's Fury needed it, but no need for it. Unreal stuff. Bestia, huge advantage early 5v3.
Yeah, they're all going to be flooding into David now, alone on this B site. Only the Sheriff in hand to work with.
But able to connect for the first. How good has David been by himself so far? There will be a trade from Zera, so there's an opportunity to plant, but weapon collection on the backside of that push through A is good. Heat would have to dominate in this position right here, right now. And the fast lane will push him off.
This is a tall order to ask. So aware of it too.
Time for Zera to show up. Sees the first cross and the second. Shock dart out. A little bit of damage on the Taco, but the Cove is just so deadly. Taco going to soak up the second dart. No problem there for Bestia and what was largely an eco round for them, but just a lot of Sheriffs purchased.
Like, it is so insane the success that they're able to find there. And being able to get those retakes on an eco round like you were mentioning. The synergy and chemistry that we're seeing from this team with the protocoling as well has been absolutely sublime. They're definitely a well-oiled machine after this season that we've seen from them, from this Bestia squad. Don't leave them hanging. Okay, we got it.
Familiarity of being on a main stage in person. It's the little things. Eco flips hands now. Heat will still have the operator, but everyone else on pistols for KRU. And Loss is going to sit here and say, do it if you dare. I dare you.
Both of those players have been so good on the snipers. Loss, though, so far on Breeze, has definitely had the edge up thus far. And it's such a huge investment into Heat into this round as well.
Loss is going to hear a lot of this. Aldrone pushing him off, up and over. Okay, able to survive. Trip is in right there for some help. Taco putting pressure on the mid cut. And this is just down to, can you hit your pistol shots right now if you're KRU? And it just does not feel good in any form. Granted, I get it. Arsenal's not strong right now for KRU. It's just this feels so different than when they played Sentinels last week.
Not able to get that momentum going on the KRU side. And again, I feel like you just see the communication working as it happens with Bestia, the way that they were talking to each other so that they could ensure that the relay bolt goes out there from Taco after knowing that Les was trying to sneak his way into that mid door, and the reactivity for Bestia on that A site to be able to capitalize off of it as well.
There really hasn't been a moment right now that I feel like Bestia's game plan has had to mold, adjust, or morph in any way. They look so comfortable, so confident, whether it's playing something on early contact and finding first blood in the first 15 seconds, or like we saw the round where the null command was ready to go, you play off-site, you're able to just challenge the spike for what feels like forever, I'm sure, if you're KRU, and Bestia's like, cool, we've got a protocol for that to take the retake battle. It's been so good on every single front, and I imagine if you're KRU, you're sitting here frustrated as all heck.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like those first few rounds was almost lulling KRU into false sense of security with the fact that they're able to get onto those sites so comfortably, but those fast floods were so deadly out of Bestia. And the pivot now, KRU, they try to explore a little bit more around the map, but Bestia, they react so well. The reads have also just been so good coming out from Melzer to be able to call for a lot of that mid contention, whether it's elbow into mid doors, A, B main, and they're shifting it every single round, making it even more difficult for KRU to read into.
I think that the other side of this is, like, from an investment standpoint, if you're KRU, coming off this timeout, you got to be thinking, like, we need to invest more in the first 15 seconds just to get a look at these sites as a 5-man hit. Whether that's using flashes, using early recon, whatever it happens to be, let's just get through the front door. Different setup here, very dramatically different setup here for Bestia defensively. Melzer will have the scope this time backside of A.
Okay, KRU, they've got Heat now inserted over at A main, something that we've seen from them previously when they play Breeze, into these heavy-handed mid hits. This is what was working for them last time versus Sentinels. But again, the round is also bleeding through, and Bestia have been so good at not giving anything away. When KRU show early on, Bestia go for information with positioning on the other side of the map. But when they're quiet, they just anchor.
Yeah.
They sit still.
Yeah, I mean, this whole setup is flash, get less in through mid, but Bestia just do not care. We're good. We got trap wires. Come on in. Water's fine. There's the initial look. First trip will fall. I'll drone out. David will deny. Lost will take care of the knife. And there's no information for KRU. Like, they just can't hit.
Nothing that they're able to do there. No longer having an insert on the other side of the map as well. Sure, there is the tripwire, but Bestia know that KRU have to go here at this point if they're not going to be flooding mid door.
Well, there's the toxic screen. David on the first peak. That's your spike carrier down. Lost trying to play the backside of the site. This is an easy zip, zap, zoop. Oh my goodness. It is so good from Bestia. And that's the setup that KRU give us after a timeout. Mercy.
It's also a Taco going 15-4 right now after top of day when he was arriving to the studio. He was talking about how he was too anxious to even sleep last night. He was so excited to be back on this stage. And the neon pick from him, he's just been running around like a menace. And it's not even just the picks. The utility being comboed with his teammates as well has been so nice to see.
Unbelievable. So we get into round 11 in a half that has been definitively owned by Bestia. Now we're starting to get some of that flash pop aggression from KRU. This is what I was kind of talking about. Like, you just have to be able to afford the ability to spend utility to get that space, and now finally a comfortable post plan, and this should surely be around that KRU get to the finish line.
Yeah, great tempo shift there. And you still have the contingency of Les with the backstab. And okay, somehow Lost is gonna flip around and get the flick on him, look to save that Phantom over. But KRU, they win a crucial round.
That might be an elimination that doesn't matter much in terms of the outcome of the round, but I promise you that will live in the head of Les going into the next round. Lost able to find another, and this operator is looking to stay in hand unless Sarah decides he wants to try to chow it.
That's the thing, though. With how much money-breaking Bestia have done, KRU can't afford to hunt him down. However, Taking a look at that ultimate economy here for the side of KRU, looking really strong into the next round, especially if they can find themselves into a post-plant situation, which is where they've been struggling.
It starts with the first blood first and foremost. I know that's like the easy John Madden commentary. You have the numbers, you get an entrance, you're going to get a post-plant, but that's been easier said than done without question. Thanks to the dynamic ability of Bestia to continue to either play forward of their own or just sit back in the site, let you spend all your utility, and then we got some of our own. It's fighting a war, it feels like, in two different speeds. But last round of the half here. And if you're KRU, you feel like you have to win this round.
Just trying to fake some of that mid presence with the utility before grouping for a full 5-player hit towards A main. I don't like this. We've got a reckoning on hand.
Oh, nice shot from Loss. The command will come through. Loss going to stand ground and almost get the collab. One more up close and personal, not able to find the shot.
How is he alive?
Hello? Loss didn't even take any damage. There's no way. Fragment out. Loss will take a little bit of chip damage, but the defense has now fully arrived. Knives are here, and Loss is saying, yeah, I got this. Pop and take right now over the top of the A site, and KRU are going to get pushed out of the half to the tune of a 9-3 score unless Heat can do something Reddit-worthy.
50 seconds on the clock to be able to get it done, but they're already swarming around him.
just playing games with him right now. What a half from Bestia. Welcome to the VCT stage. Holy cow.
What an insane half. I mean, KRU, the adjustments came through, but Bestia is still consistently ahead in the macro read.
Unreal stuff. I mean, how do you even react to this at the moment? I mean, we're coming off of a week where it looked like KRU found something. Something unlocked. Whether that was just by finding a way to play a little bit more tempoed, let Heat do the work as soon as you can afford an operator, I don't know. But right now, KRU are in trouble. As we take our halftime break, we'll split the sides when we come back.
Me. You're probably wondering how I ended up here. It all started when I got to the FIFA World Cup, and wow, thousands of Verizon customers.
Oh, you got the free Verizon tickets too?
No, I'm with amazing seats.
I'm sorry. Okay.
And even pitch side access.
Are you? David Beckham, a Verizon customer.
This used to be for players. Now it's for Verizon customers. No one gets you closer. Only on Verizon.
Welcome back to VCT Americas Stage 2 play-ins. Right now, it'd be hard to tell you that Bestia is the team coming out of Challengers. They look unbelievable. 9-3 half from the defensive side as we swap. Ash, what are your thoughts?
Hey, my thoughts?
Hi.
On Breeze, Bestia run this town right now. I mean, right now I feel like we've seen KRU try to make adjustments on that attacking side, and it just didn't quite work out for them. Now Bestia shifting on to the attack themselves. We saw how coordinated they looked on those fast sleds. It's expected to see them want to replicate that now on the attack.
Absolutely the case. We often talk in a 9-3 form about things like curses, but let's be honest, it has to start with the pistol first and foremost, and already Bestia will get free vacancy on towards this B point. Sadhak will try to lead the charge on their way back in through this harbor wall, but there's already a lot of damage tallied onto the crew defense. Lost right on the other side of the water wall as David finds the first. A couple of trades will come through. Pinstripe goes the kill feed, 3v3. Jibizin still up top, looking for that first point of contact. Clutch position for David on the backside of the site. And crew are taking their time to try to re-break this down. Going to hit all 3 points, it looks like, at the exact same time.
Look at MW's era.
Sadhak will find one. David able to find the opener. Oh my goodness! Hasn't missed a shot yet. Now it's just him versus Heat. Spike still in front of him, but he's low on health. Time ticking. David's called it perfectly. Timing not going to look good for Heat, even though he finds the elimination. And how about Bestia? 10-3 the count with the pistol win.
With a Red Bull clutch there to open things up for the pistol on attack. And it's also up against a Heat that, unfortunately, was the one who also didn't get that peak on that defuse last half. That's got to feel good here for Bestia. Gotta give credit to Sadhak for the 2K in that cove there to get those trades down, but this is, we're looking towards sunset at this point, I think.
Absolutely we are. You know, I started this whole thing off by saying there's nothing scarier than a team with nothing to lose. I should double back on that. There's nothing scarier than a team with nothing to lose that also starts to believe in themselves. 10-3 the current count. And you have to force at this point if you're crew. So you got 3 stingers in hand here to try to counteract whatever you possibly can out of Bestia's attack.
Still looking to heavily stacked towards this B side here for crew. And Bestia, you see that spike shifting. And really, it's only going to be Dante there. Crew have no information around the map, and Bestia are just waiting to see if crew want to get aggressive.
Because that's the only way they can find information at this point. I mean, you're either going to go into this blind if you're crew, or you're going to take a risk and possibly lose the map right here, essentially. Yeesh.
Oh, that drone just misses less.
Let's see what happens when this cove falls. Les is on the corner. David, who's been a connoisseur of the Sheriff, will not be needed this time. Taco able to find first blood. Dante still outside of the play as the hit through tunnel is on the way. Dante could track behind this, though. And that is going to go potentially unnoticed, but the patience from Elzer. Wow, I thought he was going to be able to punish right there, but not the case. May not make a difference. Bestia is cleaning up on site. Unreal. So now it's down to Dante, 10 HP. Yeah, good luck.
I don't really know what the exact plan for that round was for crew. Yeah, they force up because it's 10-3. They feel the need that they need to take this fight as evenly as they possibly can to get another round in or have a chance to. But there's also that risk of now in this situation here for crew, losing it, that puts the map in the bed essentially, right?
Feels that way.
And the plan was really just to stack on that B side. We didn't see too much like exploring aside from, you know, the elbow position there that we did come out from less, but otherwise there wasn't really any sort of proactive play that was coming in that you kind of expect when the force does come out, or a trap. You know?
Yeah, it's just like, I get it, and you know, we were kind of talking about this a little bit in the green room. It's like, for the challengers teams, they've had a lot of time to get themselves prepared for this event in particular. Qualified almost a month ago, and to see this preparation is not necessarily surprising. To see this domination, very surprising.
And I think that what is kind of funny about it was, I know I predicted crew going into this one. But when I saw the veto, I got a little nervous when I saw it was going to be a repeat from the Sentinels game.
That's fair. Well, Bestia is in potential closeout territory. Crew, do what you can. See how Bestia calm their way through round 15.
Esta vez le se tepió. Hermano, una ejecútala y listo, vengan.
Dale, cambia conmigo, ven.
1, 2.
Ya vamos a salir contra casi.
Puede estar de Buki, puede haber una Buki.
¿La arma quedó atrás?
Cabrón, que el dron nos limpie todo esto y ahí vamos, dale.
Sí.
Que close.
Ya, cuidado que no se quede anti-stun,
Tiro la pared
anti-flash.
así.
Cabrón,
Va, empiezo a dronear.
Si rompen stun, voy a stunear cerca. Si rompen dron.
No hagan ruido,
Listo,
no hay
voy a
nada.
hacer el humo, taco.
Está backside, puede estar cerca, puede estar cerca.
Cuidado cerca, voy a limpiar. Una izquierda.
¿Quieren spot?
Después, cuidado.
¿Quieres? Calma. Estuneo, bombi, dos.
Tengo spot en 2, como en derecha. 1,
derecha.
2, despotea.
Otro más, dos más, creo, stack. Bien.
Bien. Espera, claro.
Byron en la caja, cuídalos. Estoy ciego. Para atrás, amarillo.
Ya, voy a plantar. Cuidado, Costa. No puede estar Costa.
No puede.
Voy a pasar a la caja.
Estoy viendo acá arriba puente, weón.
Esto es
¿Puede
mío.
estar Costa? Sí,
Tengo-
es un chamber, bonitos.
Dale.
Bueno,
Cuidado de espaldas, sí.
Ya, bueno, ya, yo te miro. Quedamos con la cámara.
Ahí veo izquierda.
Amarillo, hay capa amarillo.
Que uno esté atento a mí nomás.
Tú juegas con el Chuy.
Eso. Perfecto. No hay capa.
¡Vamos!
¿Dónde hay arma?
Fucking go.
Damn. 12-3. Bestia all over it. I don't think you need to speak Spanish to know that these guys are vibing.
They're chilling. They're big chill. I mean, you see them when their cameras come up too, right? It's all smiles on stage here for the side of Bestia. They look so comfortable, like you were talking about. Momentum firmly in their grasp, and for KRU, it's about shaking this map off and looking
I'll
over the
say,
sunset.
yeah. You almost have to laugh it off, honestly, I think, if you're KRU, just to keep the mental, because this, I think, goes well beyond anyone's expectations in terms of how we were going to start this event.
People thought this map might be a little bit closer between these two teams. Bestia very much so showing why they were so good at it in BCL.
Well, Lost will get a second chance at the Outlaw and connects. Another first blood. That's going to be a percentage to keep your eye on in the final stat screen, because it feels like almost every single round it's been first blood to Bestia.
Okay, KRU are going to go for a bit of information here, but Trip is still waiting. Might catch this timing on David. He's still aware of it, though.
There's the contact. Okay. I mean,
So aware.
I'll say. Also, how often would you expect Dante to miss out on a hard scope angle like that? And you also get less before the Poison Cloud blossoms. Unbelievable from Bestia. One more up close and personal. Yeah. Shove it down his throat, no problem there. Sadak will drop. Another tag comes through into MZera, and it's just one of those games that just feels like Bestia can do nothing wrong. Welcome to play-ins.
Yeah, it really does. But let's take a look at the agents that we're going to see heading into Sunset. Here for the side of KRU, really nothing's going to be changing up. Overall, though, I feel like, man, Taco being back on that Neon, it's scary after the performance that he had on Breeze.
Absolutely. Also keep in mind that Bestia haven't played this map in a while, but when they did, they were trying not to deadlock. Not a part of it anymore. Chamber seems to be the new preferred Sentinel for very obvious reasons. I think especially, well, when Lost is shooting like he was in map number 1. Yeah, let's get more of that long-range presence involved as best as we possibly can. So, any kind of other thoughts surrounding this overall composition change between both these two teams?
No, honestly, I think the shift here for Bestia does make a lot of sense with especially how they were playing on that Breeze. They wanted to hit that kind of a slightly faster tempo compared to what we were seeing last time we saw them on Sunset. It was kind of those very weird comps that they were pulling out, right? And it did not work out. It was not comfortable for them. And I feel like now we're seeing Bestia solidifying themselves with the double Sentinel in very comfortable roles for everybody, right? Like Lost was so important on that map of Breeze with the angles he was taking with the scope, seeing him here on the chamber, and having also those additional trips as well.
Yep, it's just a whole maze of things to work through. So let's jump onto the pistol here. KRU, same story that we talked about on Breeze. Offense has been their linchpin for success, at least in recent times, especially pointing to that recent Sentinels matchup. First blood does go the way of KRU this time. Play over towards Tiles could allow a little bit of isolation on the Melzer. Great paranoia to gain some space, and maybe even a little bit of help.
Gonna take this opportunity here for Heat, though, to make his way up into A main. Still contesting this space, but Melzer, he cannot risk crossing that smoke with how low he is.
Yeah, and I love that commitment for Taco to play through that dark cover, but long-range shot from MWZera will land. David will find a trade. Melzer still hanging out on the backside of Tiles, and as the smoke starts to fade, defense will fade back. And now you've got a long route developed by Heat, skilled deep in the backside of A.
Getting scanned by that Haunt, though, forcing him off the angle, and the Wrath now from Les just not quite in time. Can't get that plant down comfortably. but it doesn't even matter. KRU, they're going to be able to put the nail in the bed. The pistol here for them, a huge pickup here to kick off Sunset.
Great stuff from KRU just to also keep pressure on multiple points there, to force Bestia to have to make tough decisions, like recommitting to help Melzer out at mid, trying to reflect back over towards A, and then all of a sudden you've got someone in your spawn. Two guys playing through elbow. Like, it's just so many things you have to worry about. So great stuff there from KRU.
The pistol round, I think, maybe on the side of Bestia, the call was to catch KRU off guard with that defender-sided aggression, knowing that their composition screams being able to bunker on those sites. Sure, you allow Lost to get those earlier peaks. Just doesn't work out for them. Showing a lot of presence now over on this B side for KRU. Waiting to see what that protocoling is going to look like from Bestia, taking notes from that map of Breeze. When they would show one side, Bestia consistently pushed out the other.
I like it. So small force of angle over towards A main. KRU just going to take their time to feel things out, make sure there's no aggression anywhere else, especially as they make their way up through mid. Lost the first point of contact on B main. Brawler through. First shot not going to land. Lost will get to the backside of the site. Lots of defenders here for Bestia to try to still at least contest the B site, but defense doesn't really have a chance to rotate back through mid. So now it's just down to how much can you hold. Shibazin will give you one. Not going to get more than that, though. KRU will have the site.
Yeah, quick flood as expected. As we get into the rifling rounds, though, for the side of Bestia, okay, you've got that Cypher, you've got that chamber to work with. For KRU, a lot of the success that they found in that map of Sunset up against Sentinels was because of the lack of defender-sided passive information holding of top mid. Sentinels constantly had to keep two players kind of around that top mid side holding some sort of crossfire. But now for Bestia, all of those angles are so bolstered.
Okay, Lost able to find the final. KRU will go into round 3 with a pretty strong bonus. Holding onto the two rifles in particular is a key to success for that, but as you mentioned, now it's time to figure out how best do you want to try to handle their defensive setups.
Yeah, as KRU were able to make plays, find those opportunities in that Sentinels matchup with just high gear pushes like we're seeing in these first 2 rounds. Again, because some of the holes, but now that those full defensive side. Okay, maybe are those the vibes that like they were talking about on the desk?
I don't want those vibes.
No? Okay. We're apparently rejecting that energy.
Sometimes you just have to come with the strange.
But
Opt out for heat. Keep that in mind.
They found my wire.
Still, nothing to be found here by David. All of that Cypher utility has been dealt with, though. And Lost going to be the first blood. Finding that opportunity for heat, something that was missing on Breeze.
Absolutely the case. Flipping the map on its head here just a touch less, the pivot point through mid. Bestia, of course, having to re-clear out market makes this a very feeble defensive setup. Melzer, timing on that peak was awkward, and okay, Dante. A little extra after a 13-3. I tip it.
Right now, this is not looking like the Bestia that we saw on Breeze. In these first couple of rounds, sure, opportunities still warm up into Sunset, but disconnected from each other in a lot of those peaks, taking those solo fights, trying to go for that information, not having the support.
30 seconds left.
Rare miss for Heat. Taco in some trouble here, backside link. Lots of spam coming through. Defense is going to try to contest this, though, in the 3v5. And as they lose Taco, they may need to reconsider, but they're not going to have a chance to. KRU dominate through main. 3-0 with a flawless round, and all of a sudden the bank accounts are looking pretty nice.
Okay, they look comfortable right now. I think it's interesting because I was trying to make that point about the double Sentinels, how KRU were going to have to deal with that passive utility just a little bit more proactively, and they have been doing so. That early pressure over at B, knowing that they're expecting that Cypher to be set up there, trying to take those trips down, force some of those rotations around. Whatever that pep talk was, though. Damn, that worked.
Down, you sometimes you just got to bring the energy, whether it's weird, strange, or otherwise. The KRU've got the vibes building right now, and it's going to be just Sheriffs and a Stinger on the other side for Bestia in this round. So just trying to make it as punishing as humanly possible. Dante going to get pressured. Really good relay bolts on both sides. Bestia will get the space they want, but KRU are going to fight it back. And there's just nowhere to go. So There's the commitment call. David continues to just show us how the Sheriff should be played. Able to find one in the response, but still very comfortable for KRU. Just comes down to will they commit to actually jumping onto site, or are they going to wait to play for the rotation with a couple of the members already deep through the defensive side of the map.
This is getting so awkward. I mean, Les completely has control of top mid. Loss has no idea what space has been taken here by KRU thus far. And unable to get that pick on MW Zera. He makes that round even the more impossible here for Melzer. And KRU, hey, sure, they got 13-3 on Breeze. It was also a reverse sweep, though, in that Sentinels matchup.
That is some next level code. I love it. I'm here for that storyline.
I feel like there's so many different layers of Croupium actually in this match, like as a whole, with like Melzer being on the side of Bestia. He was the person who was leading KRU through that run back in 2023 in the Americas LCQ, now facing up his old organization that is just known for going on runs in general, right? As an org as a whole.
I'm here for it.
It's like a metagame storyline.
Is it? It's the plot armor, something of that nature.
But this is what you like to see. You like to see that Sadok smile. It's so iconic,
it
right?
is.
It's when KRU are feeling good, they're feeling comfortable. Now, the timeout to be called from Bestia. And
yeah, needed.
Yes, it definitely is. They just look very disconnected, very disjointed. I feel like you have ideas with how they want to set up the anchor on that B side, have those peaks into mid there as well. But when it comes down to the actual fights that are happening, KRU, with the proactivity that we're seeing from them on the attack,
sure,
they're forcing those fights. And it doesn't feel like Bestia are in the most comfortable position in those anchor spots right now.
Yeah, I hear you on that. And I think there's always something about early timeouts. I mean, we've seen one gun round. Like, you don't want to just throw your playbook out the window because you lost one gun round and then your anti-eco and your pistol and your save round were obviously not close. But you can learn a lot about what you're seeing early. I think especially knowing that the economy and the ultimates are about to start popping. Like, there are a lot of elements to talk through, even if you are still trusting what your designs are based on the film that you saw last week from KRU versus Sentinels on this map. So that must be the talking point here of like, okay, we're not going to get away with finding 14 First Bloods again. Let's not bank on that always being the case. But I say that, and we are going to get a meeting of the minds here at the front doors at A. Your initial trade looking decent. Melzer still playing the backside of the site. Huge double from him. But as Sadhawk will be brought back after the null command is spent, we'll get a 2v3, numbers in favor of KRU.
Regardless, though, it is still Loss and David in the 2v3. Just make it Loss at this point.
It's just so hard to work through these smokes. We
You've
get
already
the angle back over the backside of A, not going to be able to connect. Headhunter is through. There's the spray, the spam. Loss needs to value the op, but is not going to have a chance to because he is watching the exit. 5-0 KRU. Can we see some back and forth?
the discomfort here on the side of Bestia. Sunset is also a map that they previously struggled on versus Contra. And honestly, I think that the adjustments to the composition here from the side of Bestia, while we see the vision, right? You also have a hard counter for the Cypher with Sadok being on
Facts.
that KO as well.
Absolutely true.
Here. I can't use that.
How about this, though, for KRU, something a little bit new? Have you feel out through mid. We'll put some pressure onto Miser's position. But the thing about it is, again, we're dealing with Sheriffs here. Making this round competitive would feel like a win right now for Bestia, just trying to save their half as best as they possibly can.
And they invest into the smoke to cut off the cross for Market, but they didn't explore deep enough to know that there's a trip there. So Bestia still have that passive information. Understanding that KRU haven't inserted themselves that deep yet over towards B. The team will look to regroup over at that B side. We've had Dante inserted there for the majority of the round, and the Prowler trying to sell a fake here at A.
Keep Loss interested. Oh, big pick right there. That could actually help out a ton, especially with David able to pull the neural theft into play. But Dante is able to find the pick. It gets the spike on towards site. And all of a sudden, if you're Bestie again trying to fight with weaker weapons, at least you're going to get one rifle collected for Chubazin.
Teleport's ready.
He's able to watch the cross for a time with the op, but this post plant's going to be heavily relying on playing towards B and the main part of the map.
Still hunt into that retake, not going to find anybody back sight. Bestia creep in.
Here we go. Here comes the retake attempt. He's going to the first contact, able to connect onto Chub. Dante still holding on the back front of the site. Nice swing from Lost, does not connect, and Heat will make sure Taco cannot swing. 6-0.
And no success off the back of that timeout that they had called. You talked about how the early ones can spell a little bit of trouble at times. And Bestia still have yet to be able to find that answer. We are seeing adjustments, though, right? They were going for some more proactive fights on defense, that trap play over towards A main that one round. Not being as kind of bunkered on and turtled onto those sites as we had seen previously. Oh, that's a button press right there.
Another timeout early. Now it feels like the game plan has met the shredder. Wow.
Onyx did not look happy.
No, he did not. And I guess there's like, you know, again, for Bastille, you already talked about it, like, they're playing a map that had not breeded a lot of success for them in their region, especially when they were talking about that matchup versus Concha where they're trying to play Deadlock. It does feel very fresh in terms of the comp, even though it's obviously very similar to what they just ran in their last map. But the things that were successful for them on Breeze are not coming through right now. Mostly looking at what's happening in the first 30 seconds. First blood battles have not been nearly as convincing. If they are finding first bloods, they're being traded. It just is not getting you the same control that you had before. I mean, the game is telling us the story itself. Like, this is easy to break down because it's literally a flawless game right now, 6-0 to KRU, and everything is built in favor of how the attack has wanted to put itself together.
Yeah, for Bestia, those first bloods were the key to success over at Breeze, right? The fact that you saw Taco and Lost just performing so well with that double duelist, opening up those rounds, something that's missing right now.
Yep. Well, KRU are vibing. Maybe they just needed to lock in, just shake themselves a little bit more into the match. Bestie are down bad, full rifle build here. Taco could have put themselves in an op as we jump on into a KRU. Listen in here in round 7.
Banga eles.
Tá com dash, Muito meu, guys. Tô aqui.
3A, guys.
Mano,
3 elbows, 2 elbows.
Voltar.
Elbow.
Backside.
Bomb e elbow. Elbow, chamber.
Vem comigo. Vamos junto. Tá, vamos matar ele. Vamos passar pro lado aqui, vem. 1, 2.
Tá aí. Ih, otário. A tropa chegou.
Help, guardando. A tropa do Bru também não. Caralho, Dante, você que... Guys, temos que caçar pra caralho, que eles têm um Predator, viu? Caça, vai todo mundo. Tá. Tô bicho, bora.
É a tropa dos brutos?
Isso, eu fico.
É a tropa dos brutos também.
Vai. A barra tá muito longe, depois tá guardando nave, nós estamos mu. Todo mundo guardando essa porra.
Ele encheu a câmera velha agora. A tropa tá Tui aqui.
Cravei a reta, Dante.
Jesus.
De Alp. Tomei surto.
Jesus, man.
Ai, filho da puta. Tem um surfer esquerdo, eu acho.
Botou bomba. Mano, faz barulho pra ali, guys.
Pegou QG em mim agora. Não consigo jogar.
Vamos, meu último. Tá no ponto,
Joga, tá com você, Leo. Aí, matei ele, por favor. Não. Aí, tá, Leo. No!
Taco! You hear him. Run him down. Take the world. Taco was able to survive, but hey, sometimes when things just are going completely wrong in map number 1, sometimes you just gotta go and say, let's just have some fun. Right now, KRU having fun, I'll tell you that much.
Hey, that's kind of what happened last time too, right? But very different vibes now on this squad, of course, with the lead that they've amassed for themselves. Bestia into this round, though. We do have some key pieces to look at. Operator in the hands here of Lost. Dante, though, scaling so quickly into this A side.
Ooh, big win right there from Last. He's able to connect over towards Elbow. Taco will be left on an island with a judge.
And no one wants elbow control.
Nope, don't need it. Not when you're dealing with a 5v3, knowing that you're playing into an op still. So Taco will have to do this the hard way.
Just waiting for the rest of his team to make their way over. Gonna pop the ultimate.
Hello? Dante? Okay. Opportunity to actually pinch off this now all of a sudden. Yeah, fast lane's gonna go up. Taco can put pressure, able to find a second. This round is still very winnable here for Bestia, but you have to still clear out these positions, and doing it with the overdrive can be very difficult, and that's exactly why the crossfire setup will work, and KRU will stay perfect. 8-0. And how about the shoe being on the other table, which is turned?
And it's insane considering Taco's position that entire time. I think for the side of KRU, they were so confident that nobody was there because no one got the trade off of the person who ended up dying in elbow at that point. And having that opportunity for the backstab, it was honestly unfortunate, though, at the same time. There wasn't anybody else in the, peripheral there for Taco to actually get that off of, so couldn't find the impact that he really wanted to into that round.
You want to play? Let's play.
2-4 South for loss in this round for Bestia, who are still scrambling to put together a full purchase, it feels like. Also have the Nightfall available.
But it's been so good. The way that KRU have been handling that A-sided aggression.
Just staying alive in the first 30 seconds. It's sometimes that simple. Orb collected for MW0, and that is all that KRU wanted. So thank you very much. We'll go to where we're actually going, which is going to be probably A.
You also have that insert into tiles here for Heat, keeping an eye on the rotation from Market, also being able to listen in for any of those steps that are going to be over at that A link side.
I'd say most importantly, he's also calming out this spy cam, which it looks like MW0 may want to try to delete to put pressure in the middle of the map. Might feel out. Okay, aggression on the A elbow means that we actually don't want to go that way for KRU. Spy cam was deleted, and that will be where KRU will take their efforts.
30 seconds left.
Trademark still in Market there, and the smoke goes out as well.
Good pre-fire from David. Able to get some damage in. There's the defensive Nightfall. That's going to connect on a ton. You have to commit through this if you're KRU. That's not going to feel good. Zera's able to give you one. Nice shot from Loss. Oh, huge headhunter connection. He's able to get one back, but as the last one standing, there is nowhere to go, and finally, Bestia's on the board.
A much-needed round by Bestia there. Man, it was a long time coming into this first half here for Bestia. For KRU, though, it really felt a little bit more like they lost to themselves than Bestia, in my opinion, in that particular round. Like, running down the clock, it felt like we saw so many pivots from KRU. They're trying to pump fake one side, show presence on the other, then going for that late pivot into Market when they hadn't dealt with that Market utility yet.
I think that's a very fair call. I mean, I think maybe KRU is not expecting to get the double reveal front A elbow, and they're like, woo, we don't want to go into that. So let's just try to take our efforts into mid-market where we'll have numbers, but setup was too strong, so Bestia gets something to work with here. Round 10 on the way. Quick play up through mid from Les.
Ultimate's going to go out here for Sadok, and it's going to be an easy entry onto this site. Tripwires, though, are still going to be up since David did throw those down and get off.
Oh, this is, say, ballsy from Lost to jump into the smoke without the ability of using the rendezvous back, but he will be punished less. That position will work eventually, and Sadok will be brought back to life. So clean round here for KRU, and a very puzzling setup for Bestia. Just committing through the null command with the operator as the first point of contact is very brazen, very brazen.
We have questions about that one.
I do.
We do have questions about that one. Regardless, though, for KRU, this momentum that they've built for themselves here on Sunset has looked so comfortable. I think that their game plan on this map is very measured as well. Earlier I was mentioning, didn't get to finish my point, about Sadok and that presence over at A, that understanding from KRU that Bestia want to play bunkered on that B site with those anchors. And then on A, they have those trap plays for main, but KRU denied that opportunity from even happening from the get-go with the early 0 point, then cycling it into the mid-round for that information as well. It's been hard for Bestia to get something started because of that too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just another one of those things that if you go back to the first handful of rounds, when the first timeout comes through, Bestia is getting frustrated because they're not finding anything successful early. And now all of a sudden, you're not finding any success on the ability to contest these executes.
The way we got like all point of views of that.
I know, right? I know.
Prod said we were going to eat good today.
9-1. Here's another quick hit on the way. Taco. Shut down. Dante will get two. Nightfall just because why not? Melzer steps on him with a Bucky to find one, but it all feels very insignificant in the force of what KRU is doing right now in this attack.
I love the tempo change coming out from KRU as well, with how they've conditioned those slower round starts, looking for that information, dealing with the utility. And it works so well into that read as well, with the fact that Bestia end up shifting their Sentinels onto that A side, making it so much easier to get into that B. But now 2v2 still into this retake here for Bestia.
Oh, kind of let off the gas a little bit here if your KRU leaves Heat to the 1v2 situation. First on the corner, not able to quite hit it, but the quick switch is good. It's a little chamber on chamber action here on a Thursday. Loss holding the corner. Toggles. Heat, shoulder, not interested. Second effort, and Heat is not going to drop this one. So give him the technical 1v2. Bestia made it close, but that felt more like KRU kind of maybe lost sight of the finish line on the round a little bit. Red Bull clutch goes to KRU.
Yeah, Heat getting his revenge up against Lost in that situation as well for Breeze. Yeah. But now 1 round left here, Bestia. Now the ones to honestly kind of look towards the other map is how it kind of feels right now on Sunset. Kind of wild how the script flips right after they looked so damn overpowering on Breeze.
Unshakable confidence though right now for KRU. And on the other side of things, 1 in 10 for Chubas, and you hate to bring it up, but just again, tables have turned on this. Dante looking to go quick. Isolation in the corner, no problem there. Quick trade though from Taco, able to hold on to some contest here on the A site. Quick switch of attention over towards main. Paranoia cuts across the site, does not affect Taco nor Chubas in, but doesn't make a difference. Both will drop in. KRU will have the site again.
Both Sentinels into the retake. Lost with an operator. Stinger here for David. MW's era fighting aggressive. Gonna give that gun up. But KRU are chasing into A-Link. Backing up. Time is ticking away, and I like this retake of CT here from the attackers. Defending that post.
There's just no way you break through this if you're Bestia. There's no way. KRU would have to have a meltdown right here. Not going to happen. Slowing field now in the way thanks to the tour de force. And everyone gets one. 11-1. Are we having fun yet? Because right now it has been one-sided for one side or the other.
KRU are definitely having a good time.
I would say, based on what we've heard, they're having a great time.
Smiles on board. But again, this team of Bestia, I think that I'm wondering what the depth is here with this composition that they've pulled out as well. We've seen a couple different looks from them.
Well, there's going to have to be another figure it out moment here as Bestia will go into the second half down 1-11. We'll swap the sides, come back.
All right, so look, Melzer, you're the vet. You've been up here a couple times. What words of wisdom did you give to the new rookies as they take the stage for the VCT first time today?
Yo creo que el principal consejo es que se diviertan, que no piensen que están contra algún tipo de dios o alguna figura que no pueda vencerse. Creo que ellos tienen mucho más nivel que algunos de los que están en VCT Americas, así que confíen en sí mismos y disfruten.
Yeah, first of all, have fun. You know, you're not up against any kind of god here. You guys are just as high level as anyone here in VCT America, so just have fun.
Oh, that's all. I mean, with a motivational speech like that, I'm ready to just go ahead and raid the beach. Let's go.
Stomps. Map 1, all Bestia. And as you see it right there on the middle board, it's been nothing but KRU here in map number 2. We swap the sides and see if Bestia can spark up, well, anything at this point, because it's been very dominant. Very, very dominant.
Yeah, they still haven't been able to find an answer to KRU, namely to Sadak in some ways. Like the impact that he's had in this map so far, not just with the flashes, the 0 points, just really being able to dismantle those trap setups that Bestia we're trying to go for on the defense. But let's see if they can get anything going. Bestia, they need to win this pistol round to keep themselves here in Sunset.
Yep. Don't need to be an expert analyst to know that this round's a must-win right now for Bestia. No mistakes. David able to work their way up through mid. Little 1v2. Nice relay ball. Push you out into the open. No problem for the isolation onto the first blood. Taco looks like he wants to try to counter this, but what a response. Zera gets the read, shuts it down. Early numbers for KRU again.
It almost feels like they've swapped places with the play style that we saw like between these two maps, right? With how synergistically KRU are playing at the moment. Bestia, they have been trying, but still, again, don't look quite comfortable. Their opportunity here in the post plant.
Yeah, I mean, map 1 just kind of feels like a false flag operation right now. Wasp trying to stay alive, has all of KRU right in front of them. One tag will come through, and that will be it. Holy cow. So maybe KRU just woke up a little slow today, because this looks a little bit more like it.
It looks clinical right now for KRU, that is for certain. I think the combinations that we're seeing with the utility, the communication on the side of KRU has looked, honestly, picture perfect in these rounds. Like, it wasn't even just the relay bolt there. They layered it with the C's from MW Zera as well. It's those little things that make all the difference in those fights.
Perfect isolation. Wow. Okay. The vibes are vibing. Looks like the vibes are vibing on both sides still.
Hey, that's a good thing, though. It's a good thing. For Bestia, you want to see that, realistically.
You absolutely do. Still got map 3 in front of you. But, of course, we're in force by territory here for Bestia the rest of the way through, no matter how long that happens to be. KRU will see if they can put it out of commission right here, right now, with 2 rifles and a Guardian and mixed with the Spectres. And already going to get lost up and through mid, except we see that. Dante easy first blood. And now he's just playing kind of a counter flash position up front with a little bit of assistance from MW0 behind the B site, which looks like this execute will come through, and no one's going to scout out Heat in the corner. Oh, mercy. Zera also deals with the fast lane, and he gets another one. Yeah, that'll work. All right. Very quickly, we're through 2 maps of Valorant. This is about to be a triple overtime banger. Has to be, Ash. Has to be.
You locking that one in?
I'm locking it in.
That's your final answer?
Cash it.
Okay, Shiv. Okay. We'll see if it ends up being a triple overtime banger. I'm not going to hold my horses on that one with how those first 2 matches went. When it comes down to Summit, though, for the side of Bestia, sure. We did see them win during that grand final versus Contra. They felt comfortable here. For the side of KRU, they didn't manage to get that win up against Sentinels. That was the first map. They lost 6-13, I believe it was. And that was with the fact that they had 12 first bloods on that map. And they were only able to win 6 rounds. I do want to say, for the side of Sentinels, the multi-kills did go absolutely insane, especially Redux. But that's a scary prospect to go forward with. However, I imagine that the KRU that we were seeing today in those earlier matches, they look synergized after Sunset, right? I'm expecting those follow-ups to be a little bit more clean, for them to be playing together a little bit more. They were getting discombobulated and, you know, kind of divvied up there in that last matchup versus Sen.
Yeah, and again, just the story of the first 2 maps has been 14 first bloods for Bestia in map 1, 12 first bloods for KRU in map 2. How much will that pay out in map 3? So far, Bestia able to tally the opening first blood and find themselves an early 5v3. Quick rotation on the way over to B, which is actually where KRU are positioned. The barrier orb was actually maybe not placed exactly where you want it to be. Opportunity for Dante to follow off the relay bolt, but not able to get too much. MW Zera just right behind the play. Not going to expect Taco in the corner. First round goes to Bestia.
That it does. For Bestia, that also switched up their composition heading into this map of Summit as well. Previously, I think it was Dan that was shouting out that comp. They were running that Phoenix, that Harbor. Now changing things up, they bring out the Sage and the Viper. Sage being a popular pick here on this map for a lot of these teams. Just being able to divide some of these angles, especially when pushing onto site, right? With how many little spots you can hide here on site on this map of Summit.
Yeah, it's just there's so many tight alleyways. The barrier gets so much value. Nice first blood. Heat was trying to take away an angle at mid. Taco connects before the smoke comes through. Just basic pistols here for KRU anyways. Should be a pretty casual round here for Bestia, pending they don't slip anywhere. And it looks like they're going to make their way through mid and potentially just get a little bit more space to eventually impact this A site.
Nice insert here from Bestia, though, with Taco in that elbow control towards A link. Thing is, he can't take too much of a risk with that Marshall either at close quarters.
Yeah, not until this hit comes through first. Dante is able to win that gunfight, but the hit from the front is looking pretty good at Garden. Now it's just down to clearing out the rest of the site. Ooh, Zera almost actually connects to 3, but finds 2, which is very valuable. Late rotation from Sadhak will be able to get into play. Dante just cannot fall right now. Whoa! So say, just tried to take the timing off the plant. Ends up working out for one. Sadhak able to connect onto David for the first. Opportunity to follow behind this. But David has his sheriff. Flash on the corner, Sadhak taking damage, and the pistol will finish things off. Huge anti-eco win for KRU.
What a way to convert that for KRU. The right click there was just honestly insane with the peek around the corner. A nice thrifty round here for the KRU squad. Man, I'm actually just stun-locked at how good the pistols looked by KRU in this round.
I mean, the one to slide up and find the right click is insane, but really, it's for me, it's on Zera's double.
Yes.
That's where that round comes through. The fact that he's the only one on site, you're dealing with a 1 versus 3, and you connect onto 2 with the Classic is unbelievable.
Yeah.
So now the eco's on its head. It'll be KRU with the weapons, Stinger in hand for Taco Lila, because of course he's on the waylay.
Prowler up there for Bestia. Doesn't find any information, but does push KRU off the angle. Forces MW Zera back. Scope.
Not
just
gonna lie.
Up here.
Zera kind of stole away what would have been a nice, impressive little double right there. Won't lie. But
it'd be your own sometimes.
It do be your own sometimes. Bestia does get their way onto site, but there is no spike here.
No. Spike is in main, unfortunately.
It's fine.
It's just one of those rounds there. KRU clean up, Bestia on their eco round. But overall, again, let's see what Bestia are going to be able to do now that rifles are fully in play for both these teams.
Yeah, this will still feel like a bonus, though, for KRU. And so far, so good, considering the success after the Thrifty comes out. But like you said, now we're going to start to really learn about what tempo, I think in particular, Bestia wants to try to set this half on. Talking just through the first 2 maps, they have liked to play on the forward side of the game, just like in front of where you would usually maybe see most teams play at. But they're looking to stay, again, heavy-handed and focused over towards A. This is going to give a lot of the middle of the map away.
I love this mid control here for KRU. Mid being such a pivotal point of Summit with how many lanes you can find.
Shots.
You will not kill them. Just the spams there. Resurrection used on Taco as well. One away from the convergent paths could come to fruition in this round, but what is going on?
Yeah, they just can't get their way fully on towards site. Yeah, you're around the corner here, but you're trapped. Oh my goodness, this is about to be a absolute kitchen sink thrown by KRU. All the utility coming through, Taco nowhere to go, and that is why you don't want to just be stuck on site. Bestia completely overwhelmed by the utility from KRU. Initially, when that door starts to close, you're starting to think, ooh, Bestia's going to get an angle, but that first blood, so key for KRU, allows them the easy retake.
It's also one of those moments where Lost props himself up on the wall there as well, and you also have the spike being held in an open position. It makes the round irrecoverable. KRU, hefty lead. Bestia, I mean, we've seen The pop-off moments. We've seen some crazy eco rounds come up throughout this best-of-3 series. Will they be able to find purchase this time around with Heat now already crawling out into mid? A space that Bestia haven't really contested since that first round.
No, not yet at least. And I think they're going to start to realize the follies of that decision. Because you just cannot, if you're going to play A, hit it one-dimensionally and be stuck on site like that. You cannot just play it purely from Garden on the post plant either, though. A lot of things they need to worry about as they're completely split up here. Extra steps being taken by KRU through mid. And Zera is going to sit here and say, all right, looks like I've got the world in front of me. Just comes down to, can Bestia establish some presence towards B before this hit unfolds? And it looks like the answer is going to be no.
Trying to contact in, but Sawduck still anchoring here. A great timing with that fragment as well. Now the rotation comes in here for Bestia, but look at how KRU have now bolstered this B side after shutting things down already.
Yeah, they have to play through this smoke or wait for it to fade.
30 seconds left.
But committed towards this B execute is going to be Bestia. So now it's just down to the set of where the utility is going to fall. 3 defenders are on site. Blast the first peek, not able to connect. Dante on the follow-up, no problem there. Paranoia to block the front doors. David does connect, though, keeps this play alive, but the time is running out. Might be the best ally right now for KRU as David connects onto another. Follow-up shots, really well done for Bestia, but don't have the time, don't have the numbers, don't have the weapons to work their way on. KRU will hold.
And it's so tough here for Bestia, especially with Heat having that operator online, how much of a problem he is in that matchup where Sentinels found so much success up against KRU's defense was going for some of those early smokes into main, trying to deny those early peaks there from Heat so he couldn't get the line. And that's something that we're not seeing that kind of protocoling coming out from Bestia. We do see like the contention, you know, of the extremities, the timeout now to be called here. Bestia, coach not looking happy in the booth right now.
I would say if I were to put on the coaching hat for a moment, Bestia needs to find some way to cause problems at mid, because KRU right now, I would say every single moment of any particular round, they have 75% of the map in their name. You need to put more pressure to get this defense a little bit more split focus, because right now, you're getting a 1-3-1 setup largely for KRU, anchors on either site, and then 3 players floating, either committing to playing in towards mid or at one of the connectors, and it's just been free. It's been absolutely free. And that just means that Bestia are one-dimensionally flooding into site, and that's just not a recipe that you want to continue to try to play off of here on Summit.
No, especially when I also feel like in a lot of those early round contentions, you don't see KRU over-investing utility to contest. They're more than happy to allow Bestia to cycle through their prowlers, knowing that they don't have that much more to actually get onto this site. Yes, you do have a paranoia there within Melzer, but still, it usually requires you at least getting that guarding control first. If you're going to go over towards A, then you can paranoia over towards the deep site to get that plant down and take out those anchors. And even with the timeout that was called by Phonics, we have a very passive mid-hold here. Maybe waiting to see if KRU overextends. The read could be good with this walk down.
I mean, this is aggressive, though, for KRU. 4-player stack. And the thing about this is they don't have to commit beyond this point until they know where an execute's coming from. But at the same front, if you're Bestia, are you going to anticipate this? Can't imagine a world where you do. And here's the action. Zera will show the position. Bestia have to work through this problem. And again, look how trapped they are. Talk about 75% of the map. Now it feels like 90% of the map goes away KRU.
Nice refight at the very least, getting the pick onto Les. Still going to look to back off. They do have that shallow insert over at that A side for Melzer to make the call for the rotation.
Yeah.
They will be doing so through spawn.
I will say this, losing Les is not kill you if you're KRU, because you have a null command and a nightfall. So even though you're not going to have the ability to play off of smokes, you are going to have still the ability to put tons of control on this A site retake.
There's also so much pressure because they don't know where Heat repositioned. Until now, being able to get that pick changes everything. The nightfall clearing out the A site here, free for the planting.
Yeah, that pick does change things dramatically here because KRU now have to worry about playing into Garden and also fighting through mid.
Granted, if KRU can find a pick, I expect that Nightfall to get ripped out by MWZ. I could definitely see that Flood trying to come back in.
with their cash, they may send it anyways. Just let it rip. And here comes the first contest. They see Taco's foot. Can't win the gunfight, though. That hurts. Follow-up and also not going to connect for Dante. Sada can only find one, and Bestia get a good one on the board there. That feels better.
Nice post plant. Not even needing to, overextend into mid, go exploring too deeply, but the awareness at Phonics making that call, relaying it to his team in the timeout to say, okay, they've been walking down mid, getting that information on you guys. That's why the Floods have been so comfortable, able to swarm around those plants so quickly, or even just deny the actual capturing of that site in general.
Make me proud.
Being able to punish that has definitely been big. Bestia will continue to stay a bit more spread out into these rounds, looking to see what space KRU want to capitalize on, but they take a shift this time, playing more bunkered.
Yeah, this could be a round where we see some fireworks too, with the convergent paths at the ready. Post-plant Viper's Pit could also be a big boon, especially if this ends up being an A execute. But Bestia have shown us reservation in terms of the timing of these hits, often moving in the last 60 seconds or so.
You already have also Heat posted up past that toxic screen, so no opportunity to even get a comfortable lurk up into that side of the map.
I like this idea here from Bestia. See if you can put some pressure onto the elbow.
There's a trap play set up, though.
Mm-hmm. And Dante still holding a very one-and-done angle here. Zera's going to be kept safe in the corner. There's the paths. Trying to dive on forward. Hello, how are you? MW Zera able to find two before being traded. Not going to make a difference. Dante will win out the angle. So the play through Ben, not going to work. Melzer by himself, stuck between a rock and a hard place. He's got lightning shooting all over the place. Nowhere to go. And that's just another, like you talked, KRU setting it up differently, and it works out absolutely perfectly.
That's a great trap play there into elbow. Perfect bait for MW Zera to capitalize on. Now, Bestia, we've seen the adjustments coming out from them. I think what else is kind of crazy is just how much pressure Sadak has been able to put on B main on his own. Like,
absolutely.
A part of me kind of wonders if they are banking on some of the homework that Bestia did, knowing that it was always Sadak and Heat on that B main line, trying to hold it. And now you have Heat kind of floating around the map.
Good night.
3 detected there. Huge information for KRU. Signal for Sadak to look to back up, but even then, they know that Bestia, they'll look to maybe like re-explore, cut noise. We haven't really seen many high-tempo rounds from them off gate.
No. I think some of that is due to the fact that, again, there's just so much ability for KRU based on their comp to slow up the impact that Awele can have. I mean, we saw the trademark trap essentially 3 players in the last round. Knife stops the ability for a quick hit. Flash just to check, and there will be a smoke replacement surely at B main. And it's just continuing to throw the challenge, like throw the gauntlet to Bestia of like, what are you going to do to get through all of your utility? You have to show us something.
Oh man, they were trying to even fake over at B, and then it ends up being that null command pop there by Sadak.
So now it's on to Heat to connect, and after map number 2, you know he's good for it. Nightfall also coming through, and we're in the last 30 seconds, and Bestia just has no time nor any space to work with. I don't know what map 1 was, but these last 2 have been absolutely beautiful from KRU.
Thus far, again, it's been a different KRU that we've seen since the reverse sweep happened up against Sentinels. Looking much more well-connected and synergized across the board. I do think, though, for the side of Bestia, again, this composition doesn't do many favors for Taco Leah on the attacking side to try and get him onto those sites. Like, it's a very unforgiving role that Taco has to play on this map of Summit, trying to create that space as Awele up against a Sadak who has been so good at cycling that KO utility over the past 2 maps.
Or the other side of it is, again, there's always some sort of a cycle of a smoke being tossed through. So you're, again, throwing a challenge at Bestia of you have to push through this. You have to commit if you're going to commit. You have to spend everything if you're going to commit. So things like fakes, these little cute plays just are not working out right now for Bestia. They're back over to a save with just 2 rifles that could be afforded. We haven't even seen, it feels like a spike plant since the first round.
Spray is going to do a little bit of damage here for MW's there. Not able to get the hunt, but still gets Melzer.
I get it. Again, we're still on like a limited purchase here, but just the fact that nothing is working to even come close to seeing a spike site has to be so frustrating. Last bit of Fade utility coming over the top will allow at least one more trade to come through. Less in a little bit of trouble. Snaps finds the first, not able to find the second. David now by themselves. 1v1. Opportunity to still steal this round away. Sadak. Oh, nice little pop flash able to isolate the corner. No problems there. Yeah, Sadak is vibing in the player cam, but that one got maybe a little bit closer than you'd like.
Hey, still picture perfect utility there for the IGL on the side of KRU. Bestia looking uncomfortable here on Summit. We see the ideas that they're trying to make work, especially with some of those A pushes. But again, I feel like with the positioning that we're seeing, those prowlers being thrown out even by Chubi, it can't get deep enough to actually push and catch anybody off guard.
No.
They're more than happy to back up into garden, play the box, and then at that point, okay, you break the haunt, and then what?
Yeah,
You're trying to cross through your own toxic screen at that point, and you don't always know if there's an op on the other side.
I mean, the difficulties are multiple-fold right now. I mean, Bestia is having a hard time getting through the first layer of the defense, let alone to even talk about things like a second or a third to scale deeper. And again, we've had one spike plant, two maybe. Not been great in terms of the execution from Bestia. And when you're putting a Waylay into the mix, that's the one thing you should be able to at least somewhat guarantee is that you're putting pressure on the defense to pick and choose how they want to try to set up. But so far, there has been very little picking or choosing. KRU have just gotten away with what their set default has been. It's been good. It's been very good.
Set default. At the same time, though, KRU, they did change things up from what they showed previously, right? So kind of relying on some of that previous conditioning and hoping that the homework works in their own favor in some ways. It also helps when MW Zera is performing so well, but attack-sided operator to come out here for Taco Leah. I'm not mad about it with how aggressive KRU have gotten, especially into mid. Could work out into this round, but the op's not going to be posted up there.
Yeah. You're also putting your operator on who's supposed to be your entry.
That's just for now. He'll toss it away
True.
later.
It's very true, but it's still just one of those things like we're really searching for something right now if you're Bestia. Once again, 1-3-1 split here for KRU's defense. Full control of mid. Heat going to get a chance. Does not connect. Smoke will block. And Les is holding onto a paranoia. Are they going to try to stack through this? Yeah, they're stacking for it. Here comes the play for Dante. Not able to find the first. Les able to get one in response, so keep it to a 4v4. Resurrection also off the table with Lost Fallen.
We're doing great right now, guys. That was just a little hopscotch up in top mid. Don't worry about it.
There.
Still posted on the angle, though, here for Taco Leah. Hasn't seen anybody cross over.
Has to win this one versus Heat.
Yes.
Has to.
Nobody loses the angle with the toxic screen. Still trying to creep onto site.
Zera not going to be able to find one, so there's that switch from the weapon. He'd able to find the response, though. Viper's Pit finally going to come through, and now all of a sudden, how do you clear this? You've got a knife, fragment, flash for Sadak. Everything else will have to be done the old-fashioned way. 2 will be revealed.
Everyone playing in the pit here for Bestia.
Here comes the play. Nightfall going to be used from the offense to, again, just stagger the time just a little bit more. More spray, more spam, nothing connecting. KRU is dealing with some difficulty right now. The effects of the Nightfall will fade. Now it's time to go if you're going to at all. Flash comes through in the close corner. Not able to find the one up top of us, not able to find the pinch, and that will work out. Bestia able to get the 3.
Nicely done by Bestia into the post plant. It's a great entry onto site by Taco Leah, but the main thing was the impact of that paranoia from Melzer to ensure that MW there wasn't going to be able to get that fight for free. Now, it's about trying to chain these rounds together. If you're a Bestia fan, it's been tough to get onto those sites. Once they can get into the post plant, they do have really great utility in their arsenal to be able to lock things down. But it's been breaking through. That's been the problem.
Can you start putting it together here in the backside of this first half? Feel like you kind of need to a little bit. Convergent paths are at the ready for Taco. Resurrection still ready to fire away for loss. once more, that conditioning at middle is keeping Bestia very interested, but an early prowler through the elbow will allow Taco an angle. Does Dante try to check this? Yeah, he will. Follow-up angle from Zera was there, but they can't find the first blood. Will stay full force.
Elbow control, more than happy to get up there for KRU because they still have that trip. Hasn't been dealt with. The trademark consistently holding that space for them.
Here's a unique look for Bestia. First time we'll see them move their way in through the B-link.
Saw a relay bolt here for Dante.
This is a really important contact, and Dante caught in the middle of moving. Relay bolt out just to stall. Help is here from Les. Holding onto the paranoia, will spend it. There's the paths. Does not affect much of the defense. Sadak able to find one from inside the site, and he's not done yet. Still has the flash to delay a little bit longer, but that flash doesn't get around the corner where it was intended to. So now you're dealing with a lot of problems right now if you're a KRU. Resurrection coming through for Taco. Bestia able to work their way onto the front side of the site, but they're still not in a position to get a plant off yet. And all the defense for KRU are here. We're down to the last 20 seconds. They've got to make a move.
And there's no more utility left on the side of Bestia once this plant goes down.
Oh, Taco stuck between scopes. Gives the numbers back to a 4v4. Now the retrade. Not under the slide out is Dante. Sarah able to find one, but falls, leaving it to Heat for the 1v3. Really difficult to work your way through with the scope. Able to see the backside of one. Headhunter in the corner could potentially still come through. Melzer on his right. Not able to find the initial shot, but connects onto the second. Now to the 1v1 with David. Sees the elbow, sees the shoulder. Can you connect? Doesn't take the first shot. Second chance, not gonna happen. David saves it. 7-4.
Nice wide swing there for David to ensure that that round goes into the favor of Bestia. Last round before he swaps sides now. And the ultimate economy looking healthy here for KRU. Bestia, they invested majority of those ultimates in the last 2 rounds that we saw from them to ensure that they could get those wins.
Right. One.
But we've seen good adjustments shift ever since that timeout was called. Being able to punish that mid-aggression there from KRU has been a key piece of success into trying to change up that defender-sided game plan.
Couldn't have said it better myself, my friend. That has been a big turning point. Tour de force called immediately. Oh, and just spam. The design for first blood there as Zera is able to connect onto Taco. That's your entryman down. Melzer is able to at least pick up the operator and keep it in hand here for the offense, but 4v5 and you lose out in your waylay.
That's all about working those picks. I don't have anybody to be able to create that space here for Bestia in this last round of attack. Melzer does have a From the Shadows to work with here. If he can get into a cheeky position a little bit later into the round.
Wow, he would love to have had that one.
Yeah.
This could get interesting if Les gets challenged in this dark cover.
Oh, he has so much info now. Hearing that Prowler.
Here we go.
Oh, the timing.
Les will back up, has the paranoia, immediately calls that in, and that will stop the offense in its tracks. Haunt will come through, but the space is happy to be given right now for KRU. They're already on the quick rotation over, but 30 seconds left. You know this is going to be a B hit, and you've got Heat with the Tour de Force in a perfect position. Able to connect onto the first. That's going to slow down the rest of the approach. No problem to follow up with the combination of the fragment as well. Mercy. Goodness gracious. Perfect read by Les the whole way through. KRU will finish an 8-4 half.
His timings were perfect on those repositions. The paranoia being thrown as well. That understanding of the game was absolutely sublime coming out from Les.
Well, Bestia get a couple back here at the first half, but still feels like KRU threw out a lot that did not have an answer to for Bestia. So clean for the first half for KRU after a dominant map number 2. We'll swap the sides and see if Bestia can put together as formidable, if not, it'll be a little bit better of a defense. Be right back. Welcome back. We have an 8-4 half, starting to get some competitiveness built onto the stage here as Bestia were able to find a couple back at the end of the first half. Now swapping the sides onto the defensive side. Can they put together something that feels just as solid as what we saw from KRU through the first, well, plethora of rounds, especially considering they came back after the Thrifty in round number 2. That really set the tone, it felt like.
They do have a lot of stalling power, though, within this composition at the very least for Bestia. That Sage, I'm looking at Lost to be able to slow down the entries there coming in from Dante, as we know him to be so explosive for this KRU squad, especially within his last couple of performances.
We'll see how this one unfolds. Pistol could be crucial for Bestia to bring this back to more level terms almost immediately. First contact is successful for Taco. Huge pick there. And it doesn't really reveal any of the rest of the defensive setup until Les and Taco both fall. Now all of a sudden the defense is kind of in dire straits as the hit towards A is well underway.
And you still have Heat inserted into elbow, aware of the fact that there isn't that mid rotation coming in onto the flank. Makes it so much more comfortable for KRU to get kind of situated into this post-plant scenario. Especially with an opportunity for Heat to even go for a backstab if he wants.
Well, timing of this is going to force Bestia to have to try to play this from the front. Haunt will give them a little bit of space on top of the front of the A site. Les trying to cut things off before the smoke comes through. He's able to find a lot of damage. Dante playing behind and is able to connect once more through the smoke. Leaving it just to Melzer. Not a lot of health to play with, not a lot of time to play with. He's able to at least get one more back, so at least something to work with here, but not going to have time to really play for the defuse. So good pistol for KRU, especially considering how things started off for Bestia through the middle of the map.
Very much so. That early peek and pick there coming out from Taco felt like Bestia were, you know, starting to get somewhere here on the defense, but thus far, we'll have to see how they look to continue to approach. I want to know if I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of aggression we'll continue to see out of Taco. I think that it does also get tough once you know that Sadak does like to cycle that knife over at main, A main sometimes, and gives away that ruse. This time around, knife actually going to be shot out. So not aware of how many players are necessarily over there. The presence of someone being pushed up at the very least.
Yeah, that's all you need to know, I think, if you're KRU, knowing that you're fighting into Classics. So they're going to take their efforts immediately over towards the backside at mid. Bestia will back off that angle at A and try to quickly retreat back over to B. David is in a lot of trouble here. And, whoops. A couple will fall to the door or off the map, whatever it happens to be, and that will lead to a very casual anti-eco round for KRU.
One enemy remaining.
Getting that plant down. I wonder, was the door thing to deny the orbs?
Maybe.
That we're transferring like Abyss tech over into Summit right now.
Something like that. Instead
of jumping off the map, you just get crushed by the doors when you want to deny the alt orbs over the other team. I guess so. Only so many will fit? I don't know.
Taco is completely isolated and will not have many places to go. Nice right click. He gives you a chance for one, but not going to happen. Heat connects. 10-4, the count flawless round for KRU.
What a different looking Summit than what we saw up against Sentinels there for KRU. Looking a little bit more comfortable, much more drilled on this map. Okay, we got the replay of that. Honestly, it happened so fast that I'm still processing it.
Yeah, I had to process what the kill feed was saying. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, maybe it was a little funny moment that happened, a little accident.
Kind of feels like a do or die moment right now for Bestia. What do you set up to try to get yourself to 5? Quick move from Dante. Plus, you get a little bit of reveal on the Fate deep. Yeah, that will give Heat the angle. Prowler out just to try to see how much information you can gather onto the attack, but honestly, KRU more than happy to continue to have this little toggle for position at Bend.
I think what's tough for Bestia as well is KRU are more than happy to completely disrespect the toxic screen that's being thrown out in mid by David. Pushing forward for a lot of that mid control. to get the information necessary and just not allowing Bestia to have that passive hold that they're looking for.
Yeah, and that's huge. Just to be able to come and reinforce this position, knowing that that Prowler early doesn't really give you much. But with 50 seconds on the clock, KRU are going to take their efforts back over to A main. They're going to have to re-clear a lot of this position before they can really make a dedicated move on towards the site itself. Heat looking to possibly be isolated as there's still 2 defenders that are keeping their focus on Bend. Oh, the timing is just so exquisite for Bestia. Zera will find one, though, as the door will shut. It'll give you a post-plan opportunity here, 3v4.
Bestia looking to regroup into the retake. Sadok already poised and ready with the flash in hand just to deny that initial flood out from Cave. Haunt available here for Chubi.
Now, had to try to force something right there for KRU to get this post point a little bit more safety. And as they do, they now find themselves in the 2v4. Sadok able to find one, head on a swivel, able to get the second. Maybe an opportunity to isolate the last couple, but too many to deal with, and Bestia will get the 5th round.
Sadok got a lot more than we expected, though, with the flood that was being pushed into him, into that post plant. Now, Bestia, sure, they get 5. But again, we need a little bit of problem solving to come out because it's still not quite comfortable for them. I like the retake that we saw coming in. They had the numbers advantage. Works out well for them. But these early peaks, again, I feel like we're seeing so much value coming out from KRU in those first bloods with the way that they're working that mid space. Forcing these players of Bestia to play a little bit further back on the defender's side. Also the awareness of, with this composition, we aren't often seeing Lost throw out that Sage wall early or anything like that as well. So you always have to dedicate players to these areas of the map.
Very true. Little dash in from Taco lets Melzer get the isolation for the first blood. I almost focus on the diving waylay. Lots of damage to Taco, but is able to still get himself in a nice defensive position as the follow-up is perfect. Really good cause and effect showcase there. Taco sitting with the first blood and then following to clean up the rest of the action. And now we've got a 4v2 tough situation for Zera to even think about approaching.
Still have Heat, though, reposting with that operator. Oh, but he's going to want to bite. They can just run down the clock here on KRU. The smoke goes out as well.
Teleport's ready.
At this point, KRU, they just want to see what they can maybe work here on the A side. At the same time, all things considered, wouldn't be mad if they just go for a save to keep the op in hand.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Cash is starting to get a little bit tight. Zera's going to give it a feel, and okay, now all of a sudden you go from looks like an impossibility to a very winnable situation thanks to those eliminations. David will get one in response, so Heat will just play behind this, able to find the rendezvous out the wrong time, or probably the right time, but in the wrong position, I should say. To continue this forward, able to switch out the op, maybe a chance to still isolate, able to find the first out of the 1v1. It's Loss on the other side. Can he bait the peak? 9 seconds going to commit. Loss just sprays it out, knowing exactly where Heat was. And now it's a couple rounds in a row for Bestia, starting to build their economy in the same wave.
Really nice recovery there from Bestia after KRU start to break their way into round 16. Now, KRU, you were talking about how fragile that economy was starting to look off the back of that round. They are going to have to go for a half buy, and Bestia cycling into a healthier ultimate economy as the rounds roll forward.
Big. This is a big turning point in what this map can start to look like now. Economy for KRU on the other front, not comfortable whatsoever. You're getting close to things like Nightfall, possibly Tour de Force if you can soak an orb and an elimination of some sort. So there are opportunities in this round to make it competitive, but for Bestia, you're starting to trend in the absolute right direction at the exact right time, because I'll tell you, if they lose out on that round prior, all of a sudden things start to get really hairy because you're starting to put yourself into force buy considerations with the score.
Absolutely. I like this insert here from KRU. They've got Heat on the elbow line. A good spot to maintain that information. Wall goes out, so no opportunity for a lurk up. So the team, though, going to go exploring into that B split here through mid and main.
Timing of this execute is going to be very important right now for KRU. They're able to get in towards B main, but Taco's able to connect onto one. He will be pushed off the angle. Overdrive trying to keep a lot of this defense pushed back just a touch while the spike makes its way on towards the site. Defense rotating quickly, but they need to work their way through heat.
Spike planted.
Who will have to give away that angle as David finds a way to get back into the play. Now it's down to the timing of the retake. You do have paths available here for Bestia. Good Nightfall.
Oh, this just slows everything down here with 3 being hit by that Nightfall. Still gonna have the dash out by Taco.
Surely you throw these paths through main. Heat's able to connect. This may be running out of time. He finds another one. Wait a second. KRU's able to turn this into a huge boon. Oh my goodness. Bestia just gets caught on sight right there. And I would say KRU probably can't even believe it. The Nightfall timing is exquisite, but to not throw the paths out to try to retake is so surprising.
I think they were just disrespecting KRU too much in that round, considering the fact that it was a half buy, not feeling that they needed to invest that, or maybe not wanting to, because it wasn't that full buy round, but a dire mistake here that will cost them 11 rounds now for KRU. More than happy about it.
Heat's sitting here like, yeah, thank you very much. I mean, he was stuck for a moment. It looked like he wasn't even going to get a chance to get out to join the post plan at B. So now, once again, economy switches hands. Bestia now on to just Sheriffs, but Melzer able to connect for the first blood. Nice shot onto the second. Oh, mercy. One more possibly over the middle of the map. Melzer will be shut down. Numbers still with KRU. But at least you've got Loss with the only rifle on the rounds. Maybe gives you a chance at the 1v3.
Man, saw the vision there. They wanted to go for that 4-player fight after the wall drops, but KRU just waiting in the wings. Loss in a 1v3 scenario. It's a question of if he's going to be able to make this work. Bestia need all of their rounds, but they also need the weapon. It will be the save that he opts for. Resurrection is going to be available into the next round if they can, if Lost can either find a pick or Bestia fight for one of the orbs on this map, but it's definitely looking tough. Like, we have Convergent Pass at least available into the next round. Could cycle into that Nightfall there for Chubizin. Part of me wanted to say the null command because Sadok's got that in his own pocket.
It just feels like that round that the Nightfall gets spent for KRU at B and we don't throw the paths out could have been a major difference maker in this map.
Because at that point, you should be more than happy to trade those ults.
Absolutely, yes. But regardless of the decision, the situation still stands. 12-6 the count. You know what has to happen. And at least you get the save of one rifle, but money is still going to not feel great. Yeah, you still have a Guardian in hand for David on regenerative armors. You have light armors pretty much almost across the board. Plus, you're still dealing with that null command like you mentioned, plus potentially a Nightfall on the other side. Again, for KRU, it's just, it's starting to snowball a little bit. And we're going to try to play for a trap play here with the paths, and that's going to lead to not much of anything besides some B main presence.
Awareness that there's 2 to 3 players posted.
Surely you check this, and you do. Oh, man. All of that just to get a couple of players forward. Null command out. Taco's completely stuck, trying to run for the hills, and won't get through. Spam through the smoke will connect. Les now on the lurk over towards the backside of the B site. Also covering his tracks, but David responds. Trade is there. Just down to Loss. And what started with an exclamation point will end with a whimper. KRU dominate map number 2 and really don't break much of a sweat here in map number 3. They send Bestia down to the lower bracket.
Yeah, another reverse sweep coming in for KRU, and overall looked so much more comfortable on Summit than the last time that we saw them. Bestia struggling to find the answers in this particular map.